political parties are parasites sucking off the government. Something that we have to understand is that we don't need politics, we don't need politicians, we don't need political parties. Why do we need separate entities to possess the entity that already exists, which is your government? If you look at all your political parties, all the people that is standing for the left or the right or the center or the slightly to the left, slightly to the right or the top or the bottom, all these people that has opinions and beliefs, they are not necessary to exist. They don't have to exist. They exist because they have ideologies, they have ideas, they have opinions on how things should be done. And therefore they try to consume and possess the government. The government is a structure that exists regardless of political parties. The government is a structure that is purely physical. This means taking care of your roads, your buildings, your infrastructure. This means taking care of your sewage. It means taking care of your electricity, your water purification centers. It means taking care of everything that needs to happen on a physical, practical level. This is your government. Your government is supposed to take care of the physical reality within which people function and live. The government exists because we have huge infrastructures, huge living environments where there's lots of people in one place. If you live on your own farm out in the wild, you don't need a government. You take care of your own sewage, your own conditions that you live within. But the moment you move to a city or a town, you need a government to take care on a big scale of all these practical daily living things. That's what your government does. So why is there political parties? Political parties are literally like ticks, you know, politics. Politics is just something that comes and it sucks the funding out of the government. The government is supposed to be someone that takes your tax money, and that tax money comes back to you through taking care of the things you don't need to focus on, such as someone paving your road, someone fixing your bridge, someone making sure you have water running, electricity in your house, all these basic needs in a physical reality taken care of. And to make sure that there are things to help people in this physical environment that struggles with jobs, that struggles with addictions, you know, they take care of all these basic things that is physical and practical. So where does political parties come in? How do they exist? Why do they exist? For ideas and beliefs of how things should be run, how things should happen? If you practically look at it, political parties are completely unnecessary and in fact just confusing how things should work, because they are standing above physical things, above practical things. They represent your beliefs, your culture. They represent everything that divides, that separates people from one thing that we all have in common, which is our physical reality. Imagine we had to all suddenly decide, you know what, we don't want political parties. Left, liberal, I don't know, whatever political party you have, just remove them all. And then you have one thing remaining, the government. Just one point that you have to work with. You don't have to work with this political party, that political party, that political party. You have one government party that isn't standing for any ideology, for any religion, for any culture. It stands for people. It stands for the physical reality, the environment, all types of environments. It stands for functionality. It stands for practicality. It stands for common sense. It stands for basic needs, your simple, basic, practical things. Politicians come in and they suck on this entity, the government entity. They take the funding, they fill their own pockets, they do corruption, they run their secret businesses with this money. They do all these things besides what it's meant to do. And this is all that politicians and politics have been doing. They elect friends and colleagues into important positions in the government, and they basically literally possess, like a demon possessing a person. They possess the government and they run the government besides what it's meant to do. You know, when a body of human being gets possessed by a demon, as you've seen, or as you have imagined, your body starts doing all weird kind of things, right? That's what's happening with the government currently. Because you have all these politicians, all these political groups that come in and possess the government, and people don't have a voice then. People don't have anywhere to go to hold anyone accountable, because this one's doing that, this one's doing that. We don't know who to blame or who to hold accountable. Everyone's doing their own thing. Everything is running amok. So we need to remove politicians, remove political groups, and bring the one entity that was supposed to be the only entity back in place. That is your government. So we have one entity to deal with, the government, and that's it. Makes things simple, makes things practical, and you don't have to do voting. You do voting on the government. So that means you don't have to do every 4 years of voting for a president. You have simply the government. Go to government buildings, put your complaints in, whatever you need to do. It's simple, it's direct. People can go and say, hey, we need some services here, we need some services here. You don't have to go and vote for a politician that tells you this is going to happen. Because these physical, practical things need to happen regardless of who you vote for. Your roads need to be taken care of regardless of who you vote for. Healthcare needs to be taken care of regardless of who you vote for, because that's a government responsibility. But if the government is possessed and taken over by separate entities called political groups, then you can't get to the physical reality, because they're all abusing that system for their own agendas. So we need to remove politicians. We need to remove this political thing that's taking place globally. They're not necessary. Politicians is separate from the government system. And that's why they're fighting in parliaments, because they're fighting for who's getting to possess the government. Because when you possess the government, you possess the money, the tax money, you possess the people, and you possess all the resources and responsibilities that come with that, and you can abuse it for your own use. I just realized today, we don't need political parties. There's literally a state, a government entity that exists regardless of them. Why do we have politicians? Why do we have a president? Why do we have all these entities that need to somehow run the government? The government doesn't need to be run by them. The government can be run by normal people being employed in the government. Normal citizens. They don't have to be left, right. It's just normal citizen doing a duty. Making sure your roads get paved. Making sure bridges are fixed. Making sure water is running. Making sure there's electricity. Making sure there's a sustainable environment. Making sure that people's getting food. You don't need political parties to decide these basic things. Let's get rid of politicians. Let's get rid of political groups. How can we vote them out? I don't know. Let's get to a solution.